Hey, what's up you guys? Lexizzle here, and in today's video, I'm finally going to do that horror movie Q&A that I tried doing a couple weeks ago when I was recording in my car and ultimately failed. This was like right after everything with my floors were done, and I was just waiting to get inside, and I was in my car with that one over there. But that one was kind of weird towards the end, and since it is October now, I decided, let's do something spooky. And let's redo that video. So I'm going to be answering, let's see. It's on my computer, but I'm not going to screen share it just because, like, I've been doing that too much lately. So there are 11 questions to this quiz. So let's just get started. If I look weird and I'm looking off to the side, it's because I have the questions right next to where I'm recording and where my webcam is. So here we go. Number 1, what is your favorite aspect in a horror film? Blood and gore, thrill / adrenaline rush, the chase, or the resolution? I think my favorite aspect would have to be a mix of the blood and gore as well as like the thrill and the adrenaline rush. Normally I'm not one for blood and gore, but for some reason in horror movies, I think it depends on the nasty. Like, the gorier the movie is, the more I'm interested in it. Unless it's something like Saw, where some of the scenes get like too gross and too bloody for me to deal with. There's just some scenes where I'm just like, nope, not about it. But most blood and gore, I'm like, bring it. I'm also a big fan of the thrill and the adrenaline rush that you get when you do watch these movies, especially from slasher films. I don't know why, I just really enjoy slasher films more than other scary films. Although paranormal stuff is like a close second. And lost footage, I also love lost footage. Number 2, what scares you the most in a horror film? Psycho killers, cannibals, real life situations, or mysterious creatures? I mean, cannibals are kind of scary, but I also think cannibals could be a real life situation, so I don't know why that's on there. But a real life situation would probably scare me the most. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good scary movie where you know it wouldn't happen in real life. But other scary movies that seem like it could happen, I don't know, they just scare me more. Like when I was younger and I saw the trailer for Paranormal Activity, like the very first one, it just scared the living shit out of me, especially because of the fact that it was a found footage film. I think that really freaked me out. But like just the idea of thinking that something like that could actually happen, because I do believe in ghosts and I do believe that like paranormal stuff can happen. Just the thought of like being in your house and like scary stuff is happening and you're capturing it on camera and then like you're reacting to it and like freaking out, that's what freaks me out. So yeah, I guess I would say real life situations is what really like scares me out of all those movies. Although I do enjoy a good psycho killer movie or a slasher movie or mysterious creatures. I love all scary movies and I love to try any and all. There was that one point in my life where I wanted to watch every single scary movie I could possibly get my hands on. Now that seems like it's impossible, but I still want to try it. Number 3, in a trailer for a horror film, what would entice you to go and see the film? Definitely the plot. I don't know, I just have to get like a good vibe from the movie trailer to make me feel like, ooh, this is what I want to see. And granted, it may not always be as good as it seems, as I have learned from Unfriended. I don't want to talk about it. But I remember also seeing a trailer for the first Conjuring movie, and that got me really hooked and it really wanted me to go and see it. And then I went to go see it in theaters, and it was so good. It was so creepy. Granted, I went with 2 people that kept making supernatural jokes the entire time, so that was a little annoying. But regardless, it was still like a really good film. And I ignored the supernatural fans just to enjoy the scary movie. So yeah, I guess if I watch the trailer and I just don't feel like I want to go and see it, then I won't go and see it. But if I see a trailer where I'm like, holy shit, that looks good, I'm gonna go and try and see it. Number 4, within a horror, what's your favorite genre? Blood and gore, psychological, thriller, monster-based, other. That's just, I guess, examples. Like I mentioned earlier, I really love slasher films. My favorite movie of all time is a slasher film, but lost footage is a close second. And I think paranormal is a good third. But there's just something about slasher films where I'm just like, yeah! Like, you got classic horror movie icons in slasher films, like Jason and Freddy and Leatherface and Michael Myers. All the good classic horror films are all slasher movies, and I love it. Number 5, what do you dislike about horror films? Oh man. Something I really dislike about horror films is when the plot and the story just don't make sense at all, or if they're just too slow to like tell the story, or but really it's just if they don't make sense. Like for example, As Above, So Below. It looked really scary when I saw the trailers, but then I saw the movie and then the ending happened and I was just like, what the fuck? It just showed two people getting out of the like sewers and then like black screen, end of the movie. Like, what? That's it? We don't get to learn like what happens to them after they get out, or like if something else is gonna come and haunt them now, or if they ever come back. Like, no, we just see them leaving, crying, and then black screen. Another thing I also don't like about horror films is when the entire movie is based on the trailer. Oh my god, that was actually the one thing I did not like about Unfriended. The trailer for that movie scared the fuck out of me because at the time I used Skype all the time and I thought it was terrifying for people to get haunted through a Skype call like that, and then I go and see the movie and it's just the trailer with maybe like a few scenes that weren't in the trailer, and it was just stupid. It was so stupid. I hated it, and I hate when horror movies do that. It's so yeah, that's pretty much what I hate about horror films, is when the plot doesn't make sense and when the entire movie is just the trailer. Number 6, what's your all-time favorite horror film and why? My favorite horror movie of all time, Leonie! My favorite horror movie of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street. I absolutely love that movie. The reason why I love that movie is not just because of it being a slasher film or because Johnny Depp was in it, because when I was younger I was really into Johnny Depp, and I still kind of am. But the thing I loved about this movie is that in most slasher films, if the killer is coming after somebody, they could just run away to other places and figure out ways to kill them. But in this slasher film, there's no way really that you could escape Freddy. I mean, if you die in your dreams, you die for real. So that's kind of scary. I just love that whole idea. And then like it just makes people like unable to like go throughout their day, and it makes it easier and easier for Freddy to like kill his victims. And I don't know, I just thought that was cool. Like, there really is no way you could escape Freddy, no matter how hard you try, unless you come up with a good plan like Nancy and all the other people in the other films that defeated Freddy in the end. Even though some of the other films were kind of more funny than scary, but I still love them nonetheless, except for 2. I hate the second Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but whatever. So yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, by far my favorite horror film of all time. Number 7. Do you feel that documentary-style horror films, such as The Blair Witch Project, are more effective than purely fictional horror films, such as Saw, and why? Yes and no. They were talking about lost footage movies like I was talking about, and that's another genre that I really like. Some of them are scarier than fictional horror films like Saw and Nightmare on Elm Street, but others can be really bad. Like, there's some Paranormal Activities that are really bad, but I don't think lost footage film is more effective. I think that they both have a way of, like, really terrifying people. I don't want to say one's better than the other, but I feel like fictional is just the way to watch scary movies. That's my 2 cents on it. I don't really have an opinion. Number 8. What puts you off watching a horror film the most? Bad acting, crudeness, not scary enough, spoof, too much realism, not enough realism, or other. Well, you think you would say bad acting, but there are some films that I really like because of the bad acting, like The Room, even though The Room is not scary, or Velocipaster. Oh, that's a good laugh. That one's a good laugh. I think the one thing that puts me off of watching a scary movie is just bad plot. I mean, I don't really care about the bad acting as much, although there are some movies where I'm just like, why? And I will watch some movies that aren't like too scary, but just because they aren't too scary to me, you know, it doesn't mean it's a bad movie per se. Like, I watched Annabelle. It didn't really scare me, but I thought it was still good. But I think if the plot is really bad, that's where I'm just like, all right, I'm turning it off. Goodbye. And I wish I could have done that when I saw Unfriended, but I was in the movie theaters when I saw it. Day of. Ugh. Number 9. What do you expect to see when watching a horror film? That's a tough question because I don't really expect much in a horror film. I just want to be scared or feel like I'm being scared, and I just want the plot to be good, and that's about it. Especially when I'm seeing a film in the theaters. Like, Unfriended is not the only scary movie that I've seen in theaters where I walked out going, what the fuck? Slender Man was another one where I was just like, ugh. And I think that might have also been because I played the game a lot when I was younger with friends, even though it scared the shit out of me. I don't expect much. I just want it to be a good scary movie that maybe gets some scares out of me. Number 10, 3 of the worst horror films ever made. Oof. Okay, well, number 1 is definitely Unfriended. I could literally make a list of movies that I thought were really bad. I'm gonna go with Unfriended, As Above, So Below, and Slender Man. Those 3 were really bad. Ha! And then what are the 3 best horror films ever made? Not to be biased, but Nightmare on Elm Street's number 1 on my book. I think number 2 would be The Taking of Deborah Logan, because that's the one scary movie that actually made me shit my pants. That movie is so scary. And then number 3... I have scary movies in here, right? It's not just Nightmare on Elm Street. I have other scary movies. I thought I had other scary movies. Oh my god. I forgot about The Grudge. Not as a good movie, but as a bad movie. That one, oh. So I'm going to retract what I said earlier about the worst scary movies of all time, and I'm going to say Unfriended, As Above, So Below, and The Grudge. There we go. Although Slender Man is on that list as well. Okay, so best scary movies? I forgot there's a scary movie called Eraserhead. Oh no! Oh no, Aizawa! Oh no, Aizawa! I didn't even know there was a movie called Alucarda. That's making me think of Alucard from Hellsing. Wow, there's a lot of anime references. I'm just gonna say Nightmare on Elm Street, The Taking of Deborah Logan, and then It Chapter 1. I haven't seen Chapter 2 yet, but It Chapter 1 was really good, and it really scared the fuck out of me when I saw it in theaters. And still to this day, there's one scene where I jump every time I watch it, and the guy who plays Pennywise is really good. Okay, sorry, that took forever. Number 11. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like watching horror movies? I would say 10. I really like watching horror movies. I think horror movies are like my favorite type of genre of movies to watch, especially because Halloween is my favorite time of the year, and I love spooky season. Granted, there's some other genres that I really like as well, like action movies, romance movies, rom-coms, but I don't know, there's just something about horror movies. I always want to watch it. So yeah, I would say 10. And I kind of take horror movies a little more seriously than other movies. And it's really nice because my little brother is also really into horror movies as well. I think he might be as into it as I am. I mean, we both like watching them and like going over them. We both met Tobin Bell, who is, if you didn't know, he is the Jigsaw in the Saw films, which was lit. We both go to haunted houses together. We both try to go see scary movies as much as we can together. Granted, we may have some different opinions about what kind of scary movies he likes. Like, his favorite movie of all time is The Evil Dead. I like Nightmare on Elm Street. I wonder if we've ever had an argument about if Freddy could kick Ash's ass. Maybe, I don't know. It could have happened, I don't know. I would say 10. I really enjoy watching horror films, and I just love anything spooky and scary. I used to not when I was younger, so it's really kind of ironic how the tables have turned. Like, when I was younger, I used to be scared of E.T. Now I would love to watch something as scary as Paranormal Activity. Who'da thunk? So yeah, those are the horror film questionnaires. If you guys would like to also do this questionnaire, I will leave a link in the description down below. And once again, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button. If you want to watch more, go ahead and subscribe. And if you'd like to get notifications about when I post next, hit the notification bell. I post every Monday around 1 p.m. And you know what? I like doing these kind of videos. I really, really do. But I also want to do some Let's Plays. And that Among Us video was really funny. You don't have to let me know if you want me to play more Among Us, because that's so happening. I'm so playing that game again, because that's fun. Somebody also asked me to do another video of me reviewing My Hero Academia OCs, which is lit. And I also will one day do that Evelyn video as well as that Moulin Rouge video. And I think once I get a new sweater, I should probably do a tutorial how I get into my Freddy Krueger cosplay, because almost every Halloween I dress up as Freddy Krueger. Almost every Halloween. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!